Have you ever noticed that standing up from a chair feels just a little harder than it used to? Or that going up a few stairs leaves your legs more tired than you expected? If you're over 60 and these situations feel familiar, it might not just be about age. It could be the very first sign that one of your most important muscle groups is starting to weaken. It's a quiet shift that happens slowly at first. One day you find yourself using your hands to push off your knees to stand. Later you realize you're walking slower or avoiding hills. These changes seem small, but they're your body's way of saying, pay attention. Because the truth is, muscle loss after 60 isn't just about losing strength. It's about losing freedom, balance, and confidence. And the first place it often begins is right in your thighs. Specifically, the quadriceps. Your quads are like the engines of your legs. They help you rise, walk, balance, and move through your day with ease. But as we get older, they are often the first to weaken, silently and steadily. The good news? This process can be slowed down, even reversed if you give your muscles the right support. And that starts not just with exercise, but with something as simple as the food on your plate. In today's video, we're going to explore why this specific muscle group weakens first, how to spot the early signs, and, most importantly, what foods and nutrients you should be eating right now to rebuild and protect your strength. Whether you've already noticed changes or just want to stay ahead of the curve, this is information every senior should know. Because when you protect your muscles, you're not just staying stronger, you're staying independent, mobile, and full of life. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1. Why muscle weakness begins earlier than you think. Barbara, 66, didn't think much of it when she began needing a little extra help getting up from her favorite armchair. Just stiff knees, she told herself. She was still gardening, walking to the store, and staying active with her grandkids. But then she began noticing she couldn't carry laundry up the stairs without resting halfway, and bending down to tie her shoes left her feeling winded. When she mentioned it casually during her annual physical, her doctor nodded and said, "That's muscle loss, and it's more common and faster than most people think after 60. Many people believe muscle weakness begins later in life, perhaps after 70 or 75. But in reality, age-related muscle loss, also called sarcopenia, often begins quietly in our 50s and becomes more noticeable in our 60s. It doesn't mean you're not active. In fact, you can still be walking, cleaning, and doing everyday tasks while your muscles are slowly losing mass and strength in the background. The process is subtle, and that's what makes it so dangerous. You don't notice it until daily activities start feeling heavier, slower, and more tiring. Sarcopenia happens for several reasons. As we age, our bodies naturally produce fewer muscle-building hormones, like testosterone and growth hormone. At the same time, our sensitivity to dietary protein decreases, meaning we need more protein than we used to in order to maintain the same amount of muscle. Add in the fact that many seniors tend to eat less, move less vigorously, and experience more inflammation or chronic conditions. And you have a perfect storm for muscle loss to take hold. But why does it matter if we lose a little strength? Isn't that just part of aging? Here's the truth. Muscle loss is not just about strength, it's about survival. The less muscle you have, the more likely you are to fall, to become inactive, to lose confidence in your balance, and eventually to become dependent on others for basic tasks like standing, dressing, or bathing. It's also directly tied to slower healing, weaker immunity, and higher risk of hospitalization. In fact, studies have shown that people with better muscle mass and strength live longer, recover faster, and enjoy a higher quality of life, even into their 80s and 90s. The problem is, this decline happens so slowly that many older adults don't realize it until they have already lost 10 to 20% of their muscle. They chalk it up to just getting older, not realizing that they can actually stop or even reverse much of this loss with the right support. That's why understanding how and when muscle weakness begins is so powerful. Because once you know that this quiet decline can start as early as your 60s, even while you still feel active, you're in the perfect position to take gentle, consistent action before it affects your independence. Barbara, after learning about sarcopenia, decided to make a few simple changes. She began eating a protein-rich breakfast instead of skipping it. She added gentle resistance bands to her morning routine and started doing leg lifts while brushing her teeth. Within a couple of months, she felt steadier on her feet and more confident walking upstairs. Most importantly, she felt like she was in control again, not at the mercy of aging, but an active participant in her own strength and future. If you're in your 60s or beyond, and you've noticed small shifts in your energy, your strength, or your ability to move with ease, listen to those whispers. They are your body's way of asking for attention. And now that you understand how early muscle loss begins, you can start protecting what you still have and rebuilding what you've lost. One step, one meal, one mindful movement at a time. In the next section, we'll zoom in on the specific muscle group that weakens first, your quadriceps, and explore why this particular group plays such a huge role in keeping you mobile, safe, and independent. Stay with us for number 2, the quadriceps, your body's leg engine. Number 2, the quadriceps, your body's leg engine. For decades, Harold, now 72, worked as a mailman. He walked miles every day and took pride in his strong legs. But since retiring, his daily steps dropped significantly. Lately, he found it harder to get out of chairs without using his arms, and he avoided stairs when possible. What surprised him was that even walking across the parking lot left his legs feeling sore. When he asked his physical therapist what was going on, she said gently, "Your quads, your leg engines, are losing power." The quadriceps, or quads, are a group of 4 large muscles located in the front of your thigh. They're responsible for some of the most essential movements in your daily life: standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, getting in and out of the car, keeping your balance while walking, and preventing falls. In fact, the quads are among the most active and heavily relied upon muscle groups in the human body, yet they are also one of the first to weaken with age, especially after 60. Why are they so vulnerable? Unlike smaller muscles in the arms or core that may still be used passively throughout the day, the quadriceps require direct activation through movement, load, and resistance to stay strong. But many daily habits after retirement, more sitting, fewer hills or stairs, shorter walks, mean that these muscles are no longer getting the stimulation they need. Without consistent engagement, the body begins to recycle the muscle tissue, shrinking its size and strength over time. Weak quads affect more than just your legs. They directly influence your stability, mobility, and confidence. When the quadriceps are strong, they act like shock absorbers and stabilizers, helping you move smoothly and safely. When they weaken, simple movements like walking downhill or standing up from a low seat can become risky, increasing the chances of tripping, falling, or losing your independence altogether. In medical research, quad strength has been found to be a key predictor of fall risk, hospitalization, and even long-term survival in older adults. That's how central these muscles are. Yet most people don't even know what they are, let alone how to care for them. The early signs of weakening quads are subtle but easy to miss. You might find yourself avoiding stairs, sitting down more often, or needing to push off with your hands when getting up. You might feel wobbly when turning quickly or less confident stepping over curbs. These aren't just signs of getting older. They're signs your leg engines are losing power. But just like an engine, they can be retuned and rebuilt. Harold took that advice seriously. He began doing short sets of sit-to-stand exercises every morning using a sturdy kitchen chair, and gradually worked up to holding small hand weights while doing them. He also began stretching his legs daily and made a conscious effort to take the stairs at least once a day. The change didn't happen overnight, but within a few months, he no longer needed to brace himself when rising from the couch. His walk became more confident, and best of all, he felt safer moving through the world. If you've noticed small shifts in your ability to move, don't ignore them. Your quadriceps are talking to you. And the best part? It doesn't take hours at the gym to protect them. With gentle, regular attention and the right nourishment, which we'll talk about soon, you can keep these vital muscles strong, stable, and working for you, not against you. In the next section, we'll explore how to tell whether your quads are already starting to weaken, even if you're still moving around every day. These early signs are important because they tell you when it's time to take action. Let's move on to number 3, signs your quads are weakening. Number 3, signs your quads are weakening. Margaret, 70, had always been proud of how independent she was. She still did her own grocery shopping, walked to her neighbor's house every morning for coffee, and took the stairs to her apartment on the second floor. But slowly she began to notice something wasn't quite right. She needed to hold on to the railing more often. Standing up from the couch took more effort than she remembered. When getting out of the car, she found herself pausing, bracing her hands on the seat, and pushing harder just to rise. At first, she thought she was just tired, but these subtle changes kept adding up until she realized something deeper was happening. What Margaret was experiencing were the early signs of quadriceps weakness, one of the first and most overlooked forms of muscle loss after age 60. The quadriceps, or quads, are the group of muscles on the front of your thighs. They are responsible for powerful leg movements like rising from a seated position, climbing stairs, walking up hills, and stabilizing your body when going downhill or changing directions. Because we use them so often and rely on them without thinking, even a small decline in their strength can show up in surprising ways. So what are the real signs your quads may be weakening? One of the earliest is difficulty rising from a chair or low seat without using your hands. You might notice you're pushing off your knees or needing a bit more momentum to stand. Another clue is slower or more cautious stair climbing, perhaps using both hands on the railing or choosing the elevator more often. Some people begin avoiding inclines or walking shorter distances, not because they're winded, but because their legs feel tired more quickly, especially the thighs. You might also notice shakiness when standing on one leg, such as when putting on pants or stepping into the shower. This often points to weakening in the quads and surrounding stabilizer muscles. Another common signal? That uncomfortable feeling when walking downhill, a sense that your knees might give out or that you need to brace yourself. That's because your quadriceps are the main muscles controlling your body during downhill motion and gentle deceleration. Even more subtle signs can include frequent leg fatigue, increased muscle soreness after simple activity, or a loss of confidence in movement, especially in unfamiliar environments like uneven ground or crowds. And here's something many people overlook. If you've begun limiting your movements to avoid discomfort, such as skipping stairs, choosing the closest parking spot, or sitting more throughout the day, your body may be adapting to weakening quads without you even realizing it. The danger is that these gradual changes often become a new normal. We adapt, we compensate, we accept. But every step we avoid, every muscle we stop using regularly, leads to further decline. And because the quads are directly tied to balance, reaction time, and coordination, this type of muscle loss can silently raise your risk of serious falls or injuries, even before you feel truly weak. The good news is that recognizing the signs early is a gift, because your muscles, especially in the legs, are still responsive to training and nutrition, even in your 60s, 70s, or 80s. In fact, researchers have found that with just a few weeks of consistent movement and the right protein intake, older adults can see measurable improvements in leg strength and stability. Margaret, after a gentle consultation with a physical therapist, started doing a simple routine each morning, standing from her chair 5 times in a row without using her hands, walking 10 minutes after breakfast, and doing seated leg extensions with light ankle weights. Within 6 weeks, she not only felt stronger, she walked more confidently and no longer hesitated on stairs. The rail was still there, but she didn't need to rely on it. If any of these signs sound familiar, if you're hesitating when you move, pushing harder to stand, or feeling tired in your thighs after simple tasks, your quads may be asking for help, but the message isn't meant to alarm you. It's meant to empower you, because your body is still capable of rebuilding, one movement at a time. In the next part, we'll explore why this type of muscle loss matters so much, not just for how you feel today, but for your safety, your mobility, and your ability to stay independent for years to come. Stay with us for number 4. Why quad weakness puts your independence at risk. Number 4. Why quad weakness puts your independence at risk. John, 74, was always the kind of man who liked doing things himself. He mowed his lawn, changed the light bulbs, and insisted on carrying the groceries from the car, even when his daughter offered to help. But over time, something began to shift. One afternoon, while trying to step up onto his front porch, he lost his balance and stumbled. He didn't fall, not that time, but it shook him. A few weeks later, it happened again, and this time he did fall. No broken bones, thankfully, but a bruise on his hip and a growing fear began to take hold. It was like my legs just weren't there, he later said. I knew then I couldn't ignore it anymore. John's story is more common than many people realize. Weakness in the quadriceps isn't just about slower movement or leg fatigue. It's directly connected to your ability to live independently. These powerful muscles in the front of your thighs are essential for standing, stepping, balancing, and stabilizing your entire body. When they weaken, the risks go far beyond simple inconvenience. They strike at the very heart of your freedom. Let's talk about why. Your quadriceps help you transition between the most basic movements: sitting to standing, stepping up and down, slowing your steps on an incline, and keeping your knees from buckling unexpectedly. As they lose strength, your body begins to compensate. Maybe you use your hands to push off chairs, rely on walls or railings more often, or take shorter, more uncertain steps. Each of these adjustments may seem harmless on their own, but together they signal a growing loss of confidence and stability, two things that are essential to maintaining independence as we age. The numbers are clear and sobering. Falls are the #1 cause of injury-related hospitalizations for older adults, and one of the most common reasons people lose the ability to live on their own. Weak leg muscles, especially weak quads, are one of the most powerful predictors of fall risk. In fact, studies have shown that seniors with poor quad strength are significantly more likely to fall and less likely to recover fully after a fall. But even beyond falls, quad weakness leads to a gradual shrinking of daily life. You might begin avoiding stairs, walking shorter distances, or skipping social events because you're not sure if your legs can keep up. This avoidance slowly leads to less movement, which leads to even greater muscle loss, creating a spiral that becomes harder to reverse the longer it continues. And here's where it really matters. Independence isn't just about physical ability. It's also about mental and emotional strength. When you begin to feel unsure of your body, you lose confidence. You may start second-guessing your steps, fearing a fall, or relying more on others. While asking for help is never a weakness, losing the freedom to move safely and comfortably on your own is something no one wants to face, and something we can often prevent with just a bit of knowledge and consistent care. The empowering truth is this: muscle loss is not destiny. Even in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, your quadriceps can be strengthened. With gentle, intentional movement and the right nourishment, which we'll be covering soon, you can rebuild strength in your legs and reclaim your confidence. You don't need to run marathons. You just need to stay moving, stay aware, and stay committed to protecting the muscles that protect you. After his fall, John began doing simple chair squats and practiced standing up slowly without using his hands. He added walking into his daily routine and began focusing on protein-rich meals to support his muscles. Within months, he was back to walking around the block, and more importantly, he felt like himself again, stronger, steadier, and back in control. If you've started avoiding certain tasks, if stairs feel harder, or if your legs feel unreliable, don't wait. These are the early warnings your body gives you before real danger sets in. And listening to those messages is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself. In the next section, we'll look at the foods that help rebuild and preserve these vital leg muscles. What you eat matters more than you might think, and the right nutrients can make all the difference. Let's move on to number 5, foods that help rebuild muscle after 60. Number 5, foods that help rebuild muscle after 60. Ellen, 69, had always tried to eat light. A bit of toast in the morning, maybe some soup for lunch, and a small salad in the evening. She thought she was being healthy, keeping her weight in check and avoiding heavy meals. But when her doctor mentioned her shrinking leg strength and reduced muscle mass, she was shocked. "I walk every day," she said. "How could I be losing muscle?" The answer, her doctor explained gently, was on her plate. After age 60, what we eat becomes just as important as how we move. Sometimes even more so. That's because as we age, our bodies naturally become less efficient at processing protein, the key building block of muscle. We also tend to eat less, absorb fewer nutrients, and lose muscle faster than we can rebuild it, unless we make a conscious effort to nourish our muscles with the right foods, in the right amounts, at the right times. So what foods help rebuild muscle after 60? First and foremost, high-quality protein. Protein is essential for muscle repair and growth, and older adults need more protein per pound of body weight than younger people. Great protein sources include eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken breasts, turkey, fish like salmon or tuna, tofu, lentils, and beans. Adding nuts, seeds, and nut butters like almond or peanut butter can boost your intake in small, easy portions. But protein alone isn't enough. Your body also needs leucine, an amino acid that plays a critical role in triggering muscle protein synthesis, the process by which your body repairs and builds muscle tissue. Leucine is especially abundant in eggs, dairy products, chicken, and whey protein, which is often found in high-quality protein shakes. Including these foods consistently helps ensure your muscles get the signal they need to grow stronger. Next, don't forget vitamin D. This powerful nutrient doesn't just help with bone health, it also supports muscle function. Low levels of vitamin D have been linked to weaker legs, more falls, and slower recovery in older adults. Foods like fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy or plant milks can help, and in some cases your doctor may recommend a supplement. Equally important is magnesium, a mineral involved in muscle contraction and relaxation. It's found in foods like spinach, avocados, black beans, and pumpkin seeds. Magnesium helps muscles stay flexible, reduces cramping, and plays a role in overall energy production. And here's something many people overlook. Calories matter too. Even if you're eating healthy foods, if you're not eating enough total calories, your body may lack the energy needed to maintain and repair muscle. This is especially true if you've unintentionally lost weight or have a small appetite. That's why nutrient-dense snacks like full-fat Greek yogurt, smoothies with nut butter and fruit, or scrambled eggs with vegetables can help you meet your needs without large meals. Ellen, after learning about the importance of nutrition, began making small but powerful changes. She added eggs to her breakfast, replaced her light salad with a protein-rich lunch like grilled chicken and beans, and started drinking a smoothie in the afternoon with Greek yogurt, spinach, and frozen berries. Within just a few weeks, she felt more energized, and her legs didn't feel as shaky when she stood up. The beauty of eating for muscle health is that it doesn't require complicated plans or expensive products, just real, nourishing foods at the right times. Your body still knows how to build muscle. It simply needs the raw materials. So take a moment and think. Are you giving your muscles what they need to stay strong? Are you eating enough protein, getting enough vitamin D and magnesium, and fueling your body with foods that support strength? In the next section, we'll explore not just what you eat, but when you eat it, because timing can make a big difference in how your body uses nutrients. Let's continue with number 6, best times to eat for muscle repair. Number 6, best times to eat for muscle repair. Frank, a retired teacher in his late 60s, considered himself a healthy eater. He enjoyed oatmeal in the morning, had a sandwich or soup for lunch, and typically ate dinner around 5 p.m. But over time, he started noticing that he felt weaker in his legs, and standing up from his recliner took more effort than before. He was eating well, or so he thought. But during a visit with his doctor, who specialized in aging and mobility, he learned something that completely changed his view on nutrition. When you eat matters just as much as what you eat, especially when it comes to preserving and rebuilding muscle. After the age of 60, our bodies are less efficient at processing protein and other nutrients. This means that spacing your protein intake throughout the day can help your muscles absorb and use it more effectively. Instead of eating most of your protein at dinner, which is what many older adults tend to do, your muscles benefit more when protein is spread evenly over breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This steady flow gives your body multiple chances throughout the day to repair and rebuild, rather than trying to do it all at once. Let's start with breakfast, the most overlooked opportunity for muscle maintenance. Many seniors skip breakfast or eat something very light like toast, fruit, or coffee. But after fasting overnight, your body is in a prime state to absorb nutrients. A protein-rich breakfast not only supports muscle repair, but also helps with energy, mental focus, and blood sugar stability. Adding foods like eggs, Greek yogurt, nut butter, or a smoothie with protein powder in the morning can set a solid foundation for muscle health all day. Lunch is often another missed opportunity. Many people eat too little or settle for carb-heavy meals that lack protein and healthy fats. To support muscle health, aim for at least 20 to 30 grams of protein at lunch paired with fiber-rich vegetables and healthy fats. Think grilled chicken with roasted vegetables, tuna salad with beans, or a lentil soup with whole grain toast. Dinner, of course, remains important, but it shouldn't carry the full burden of your protein needs. Overloading your protein intake in the evening may not be as effective for muscle growth as distributing it throughout the day. That said, your evening meal can be a great time for warm, nourishing dishes like salmon with quinoa and greens or a hearty bean stew. Now let's talk about timing around movement. If you engage in light physical activity, even just a short walk or chair exercises, eating protein within 30 to 60 minutes afterward helps your body absorb and use it for muscle recovery. This is called the anabolic window, and although it's more critical for athletes, it still benefits older adults aiming to rebuild strength. So if you take a morning walk, follow it with a protein-rich snack like cottage cheese, a boiled egg, or a small protein shake. Snacking wisely between meals also helps support muscle retention. Instead of empty-calorie snacks like chips or sugary treats, try mini meals that include protein and healthy fats, like a small apple with peanut butter, cheese with whole grain crackers, or a handful of mixed nuts with dried fruit. One more important note: don't skip dinner or go to bed hungry, especially if you've had a physically active day. Your muscles repair themselves during rest, and nighttime is when your body goes into deep recovery mode. A light but protein-rich snack before bed, like Greek yogurt with berries or a small almond milk smoothie, can give your body the fuel it needs to repair tissue overnight. Frank, after learning about the importance of nutrient timing, made some simple but powerful changes. He added scrambled eggs to his morning routine, started having a protein bowl at lunch, and kept a small evening snack by his bedside. Over time, not only did his leg strength improve, but he felt more energized and sharper during the day. His movements felt less stiff, and most importantly, he felt back in control of his body's rhythm. So if you've been eating healthy but still feeling weaker, ask yourself, am I giving my muscles the right food at the right time? Small adjustments to your daily routine, especially in the morning and after movement, can make a noticeable difference in how your body heals, grows, and performs. In the next part, we'll explore how to bring your muscles back to life through safe, simple exercises that specifically target your quads. Even if you've never exercised before, these movements can help you regain strength and protect your independence. Let's move on to, so now you know, the quadriceps, those powerful muscles at the front of your thighs, are often the first to weaken after 60. And when they do, it doesn't just make stairs harder or chairs lower. It begins to chip away at something much more important, your independence. But here's the hopeful truth. This process is not inevitable. Weakness is not a life sentence. Your body even now still has the remarkable ability to rebuild strength, to recover balance, and to reclaim confidence. All it needs is a little support. Through nourishing food, thoughtful movement, and a willingness to listen to what it's quietly asking for. We've talked about how muscle loss starts earlier than many people think, why the quads are so essential, how to recognize the signs of decline, and most importantly, what you can eat and how you can move to turn the tide. And the best part? You don't need to make drastic changes. Tiny, consistent steps, one meal, one stand-up, one stretch at a time, can lead to real transformation. Because when your legs are strong, you're not just able to walk. You're able to go where you want to go, do what you love to do, and live the life you choose. You can pick up your grandchild, dance in the kitchen, or take a peaceful walk in the garden, without fear, without hesitation. So wherever you are right now, sitting, standing, or somewhere in between, take a moment and thank your body for all it's carried you through. And then ask yourself, what small thing can I do today to help it keep going strong? Your journey isn't over. In many ways, it's just beginning. With stronger legs, a stronger spirit, and a renewed commitment to living life fully, joyfully, and independently. Thank you for watching. Stay strong, stay kind to your body, and remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Thanks for being here today. We hope this video gave you something useful or meaningful to take away. If it did, please like the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We share new content each week focused on healthy aging, wellness, and practical advice for living well. Tap the bell icon so you'll be the first to know when a new video is released. We're glad to have you with us. See you next time.